Video today. I'm actually doing a Landfinder BattleFinders tournament ranking video because I've watched these things a lot in the past and I did videos on them. And personally, I actually want to rank all the BattleFinders and how skillful they are at combat and how well they do against each other and their foes. And this is not going to be in any specific order compared to like what this shows right here because I'll be doing them in my own order. First off, I'm going to start with the Mana Alchemist, Dr. Int. He was one of the more interesting battle finders in the tournament. I'll actually show you what he does in a second. Let me just get to YouTube to do it. Here you can see him fight against Ray Shade, aka Shade Soul Shadow, who you'll see later on in the tier list. But in this situation right here, he actually doesn't really impress me that much, honestly, because he doesn't use his abilities that well. Because here, he's actually just getting dominated by Ray Shade and his Shadow Clone entities. He can't use his abilities really well. He also can't even dodge his own abilities because they damage himself. If the foes can use their ability against you, that does not bode well for you, I'd say, personally. If you need to get saved by another fighter, this is the Siberia Soldier you saw right there. And that's pretty bad for you overall in the bracket ratings, because he lost his battle in the first round very convincingly and got kind of demolished. As for Mana Alchemist, honestly, on tier list stuff, he is probably weakest, maybe second weakest battle finder in existence, unfortunately. And as for his opponent, Ray Shade, Soul Shadow, he uses great abilities of his clones, as you're about to find out, versus White. Here's the example of him using his ability to good use in a second. This is him versus the White, the Blessed. But this White has the ability of speed on his side because of the Light Elemental that he won in the first round. Finally. He's just casually walking up to him, and his Shadow Clones are beating the crap out of White. But that's not all he can do, because he ends up getting serious even more. But he's got a flaw in his plans, because he's a bit of a dum-dum. He saw White copy his ability right there. Yet, you're about to see what he does. He throws the Mana Alchemist's crystal at White after he saw him copy his ability. That is terrible cooperation of your plans of using your ability, dude. That is not how you use it at all. You don't throw the crystal when the guy can just copy your ability. Which kind of leads to him just starting to get bodied right here because of his... But now this. This is where he goes completely good. He is flat out just fading into invisibility and ruining White. But by this point, it's too late in the battle for him to actually be able to do anything. So I'm actually going to rate him where he belongs. So now, as for you, Soul Shadow, you get the benefits of going right into B tier, the top of B tier. Because personally, you did impress me. And as for White, the Blessed, I'm not going to be using his two regular forms because those ones are not really important. I'm doing his final form with all three abilities of the Soul Shadow, Speed from the Light Elemental, and the Mana Alchemist things versus the Unknown. I'm doing that version of him because that to me is peak power. And at his peak power, well, you're about to see the results of that. He is not a slouch when it comes to combat situations. Because currently now, he's going all out, and he's doing pretty damn effectively against him. Against the Unknown. He even managed to surprise the Unknown with, what the hell is this guy? Because he's not expecting this kind of a fighter. But he's not a real being, the Blessed isn't. And even then, if he loses an arm, he loses his ability to fight with that power. Which, you'll see that happen here. Also, unfortunately, he's not the brightest, because even after he attacks him with the Man Alchemist's power, he doesn't stop using it, because it heals him. He's a man of vampire. He can just heal him with it. Like that. He lost his speed, and also he lost his soul shadow power. The Ray Shader, the Shadow Clone. He only has the Mana Alchemist power. It doesn't affect him at all. He's stupid, the Blessed is, right here. In this form, he's not that smart because he's not a real entity. As for the Blessed tier list spot, overall, in the very end, dude is chilling in A tier. He is very powerful and very strong. And as for the Unknown, overall in his base form in the first turnaround of the first tournament, you saw him versus White. He demolishes White in the base tournament. He goes right above White because he was beating him, and he ended up actually beating him in the tournament, winning the fight because White ended up taking himself out of the fight completely. But Bullet Ordnance, he actually ended up fighting against him as well in the tournament. But instead, I'm doing the Light Elemental right here because he tends to like to show off a little bit, and I want to show off his character in the tournament here in this fight. He's unfortunately didn't invite him for this part because the song got copyright stricken finally, which made him have to remove the song. So it's just the fight animation, unfortunately. But White, but Yellow, he's like, what? Because White ended up copying his ability. He uses his speed really well, but he tends to showboat too much of his power, and he doesn't use it perfectly as well. And he lost round 1 against White, which, if you lose the first round versus someone, that doesn't really bode well for you in the tournament bracket, I'd say personally. But he's like, how fast do you think you can go, huh? He actually starts striking back at White and actually puts up a fight against him here a little bit. But even then, it's not enough. You're not that good of a fighter, dude. Come on. Pick it up and just stop using speed and fight smart. He's not fighting wisely. He's just using his speed and trying to beat him with pure power and strength and speed. That's not how you win against the opponent. Because as you hear, he's done. Crushed into the dirt. Ooh, baby. If you can't tell from that, he is not going. As for you, Light Elemental, you did better than you. Not you. Get back out of here. You already got rated. You can go directly above the Mana Alchemist because you're just slightly better than him. But I think next, honestly, it's probably my favorite BattleFinder in the Mutant. I really do like the Mutant a lot. He really does impress me a lot in what he does in the tournament. I mean, he had a very unfair fight in the first round because he fought the Unknown who was using capsules and cheating with powers then that are beyond his comprehension, which is super unfair. Go. This is the start of this round. The Mutant. Same thing with the Mutant, though. With his powers, he's very, very, very strong. But in his base form, he doesn't have a lot of power that he has automatically. But when he gets in his mutant form, he is very, very, very powerful. But his emotions get the better of him a lot of the time. He's really emotional, which does not bode well for him at all in combat. Which, as you're about to find out what happens, leads to him losing this fight. But, even with his emotions taking advantage of him, he is still a very competent fighter because he forced the Unknown to use 2 capsule VTs, which are healing capsules. If you could do that against one of the strongest fighters in the entire tournament, that's impressive. If you could do that to anyone. Because, look at that. That's honestly pretty impressive that he managed to actually damage him severely. He forced him to use 1 capsule VT, which is a healing capsule. Not just 1 as well. And the Berserk capsules make the Unknown even more broken as well. Ooh, ouch. It took him using his own weapon against him to actually beat him. And he's still landing hits at him even after he's raged. But, in this kind of situation, he could not do much against this kind of foe. Even after getting stabbed in his chest, he still tries to get back up and not be finished. He's got perseverance, which is impressive. The Mutant. Quite possibly one of the most underrated BattleFinders in the entire tournament, in my opinion, on strength. Because he does have power at his disposal. Honestly, he is above Soul Shadow. He is above Ray Shade and power and that kind of stuff that matters. Grab the damn image. Move it there, please. Move to B tier. Put you there because you honestly think in pure strength. And also like his fighting talent. I think he is slightly better than Soul Shadow. Next up. Baby. Another one of the ones I like a lot. Next up will be the Fire Elemental. He only did one round of the tournament. Actually, let's do the second form of the unknown. The aware form of him. This is where it gets interesting. He's aware of what happened. There's nothing in this dimension but illusion. Let's end this forever. I'll also be showing him the Bullet Ordnance in its final form as well, and plus Mr. Black. I'll be rating them as well at this exact same time. Because all three of them are fighting here in this part of the game, in this part of the story. I'll be rating all three of them at once. Because in power levels, I'd say those three are some of the highest ones in the entire tournaments. Because in my past when I explained the Lann Fire tournaments, I said that the Indigo won the tournament. Mr. Black had actually won that tournament. You're the one who broke the system. Make it simple, you can call me Mr. Black. What do you want? You've done something that shouldn't have been done. You showed him some that showed his memories. Bullet Ordnance. Someone was getting to be aware of his memories. The blessed one was. It caused a system error that led to true consciousness. You have no idea what he's talking about, right, friend? He said something about illusions. I see. You're going to become true conscious in the end. He attempted this by eliminating both semi-finalists. I'm going to move quickly. Let's continue from where we left off. You see, something has changed before we had this conversation. A dimensional game was created, connecting the two different world evolutions, called the Stick Tournament. Another tournament. Exactly. That wasn't your final battle. This is the final battle between the two finalists of the tournaments. So I'll find him. He won the tournament of his. So did Unknown. And in one kick, he sent him flying. And this is the guy who won the tournament. You see, my friend, we have been false conscious since the beginning. Let's get to the actual fighting skills. Like the Hario, huh? Very well. Let's see if we can win this one. The Unknown versus Mr. Black. And the Unknown's getting his butt beat right now. Mr. Black is very, very, very powerful. He's having no problems taking his capsules. And he's just beating the crap out of him. Is it truly for a capsule VT? The healing capsules. He has one capsule VT left. A Berserker capsule. Mr. Diamas the Berserker. This is where he actually starts going for real. Even then, he's with the Berserker capsule, he's still getting his butt beat. But he's fighting to the very end. which is impressive. Even when he has no chance of winning this. Now this move here, this really is really impressive, that move there. He used one of the pink capsules to freeze in place, and these grenade capsule to blow him back. Yes, I'm done with you. His Berserker capsule's done. That's his last capsule VP healing capsule. Let's end this quickly, shall we? He cut him. That's the best hit he has on him so far, besides the explosive one that he had and punched him in the face with. Ooh, this is not looking good for Known. Perfect time for you to give up. There's no such thing as surrender or retreat. Definitely win or die. He's done. You do whatever it takes to get to the end. Let's get to the intervention from the Bullet Ordnance. This is Bullet Ordnance at its full power, because he's fighting to stop everything. And even then, versus Mr. Black, this foe is intense. And he's managing to fighting him pretty well. He's managing to fight him much better than the Known did. He's actually making blows. See, it flashes of memories from another world. I wonder what this is about. Joy, anger, sorrow, misery. Memory so powerfully it made you realize these illusions. I'm going to fix this broken stick tournament system. Thanks to them for using the capsules to destroy this flawed system. And because of you, we became aware of these illusions. You're here for a reason. Let's actually rank these three now, because you've seen, you saw the Bullet Ordnance could do right there. Let's rank those fighters now, because those three, you just saw them in combat pretty effectively. First up will be Mr. Black. Him, very easily, top of S tier. He was not pulling any punches. He won without a doubt in all the strength categories, and L speed and everything. Bullet Ordnance falling in right behind him in top of S tier personally. As for the final one, the Unknown, Awakened Unknown. He goes directly above his regular counterpart in the top of A tier. Because he did fight well, but even then, he still wasn't that impressive. I'm gonna go through some of the less important ones, unfortunately, because they were kind of shafted in what happened to them. The regular Guardian who ended up fighting against the superior soldier in their combat fight. He's the only stick Lann finder to die in the tournament, because he got shot with a massive blast from 281 in the Protocol 01. He was, though, demolishing his butt in combat. Congratulations. You are stronger than the other two on the bottom of Man Alchemist and Yellow, aka the Speed Elemental. The Teleportal / Space Fragment, actually Flame Elemental. Like I said in the past, he was the one who didn't use his powers that well. He only managed to make it through the first round and then lost. He did it better than Man Alchemist, but even then, I think that's the best he can be, is bottom D-tiered second place at last. 2811, Siberia Soldier. He was really good in close combat, but with his Protocol 001, aka the super armor he has, he was really effective in combat and all that kind of stuff, but he lost against the Unknown in a stupid way because he ended up having his remote suit hacked in the dumbest way possible, which made him lose the fight in a very ineffective way, unfortunately for him, knocking him down into place a little bit. I will put him above Ray Shade Soul Shadow because he did make it losing the same amount as he did, but the mutant in power, I think mutant would probably be more powerful than he was. Time for the more interesting opponents, I guess. I'll actually put you here because this is the one in the final fight. In the final fight versus the unknown. This is in the final fight. He actually ended up doing pretty damn efficiently and beating him with the super armor on. So I'll move you back a spot and put you right there above him. There are 4 fighters left. One who really didn't get much screen time being the Earth Elemental. He did really effective for what he was doing in the combat. And he did end up nearly beating the 2811 armor. But he ended up getting saved in the end of the fight, but he was defeated in that fight. So I would put him on the low end of B tier because he did end up losing that. Now then, quite possibly one of the more interesting fighters because he actually did beat the mutant in his fight, but that's because the mutant completely gave up and just gave up completing the fight. Indigo being the Blades. He is actually Bullet Ordinance's younger brother. He's going to the top of B tier because he actually did do effectively in his combat situation that he was in. He goes ahead of Mutant. There's 2 fighters left in the combat situations. The Space Fragment Teleporter. I saved him for a good reason. Because personally, on pure strength and strategy, he dominated against Orange in his fight. He put up a hell of a fight against Bullet Ordinance, who is quite possibly the strongest competitor in the fights. Even then, he almost won against him. If Lime hadn't saved him, I'd say, he would have won that fight. He is going straight into A tier. Move, please, you dum-dum. I don't think he is stronger than the Blessed, though, because I really don't think he is. But even then, I'll still put him there. I actually forgot the Water one, but he's not on the list for some reason, the Water Elemental. He ended up losing the first round, but like others, aka mostly the Space Fragment Teleporter, he put up a hell of a fight against Bullet Ordinance, and he actually uses his ability very creative, unlike the other elementals. I will put the Water one, but I'm going to be using this form of white as the Water Elemental. I will put him at the top of B tier because he put up a hell of a fight, but even then, he still lost against a Water element. I mean, he still lost against Bullet Ordinance, but he used his ability creatively. I have 2 more characters, but they were both in one fight together. The Last Guardian. He escaped the tournament completely. In the prequel part, he left the tournament because he didn't want to fight anymore and lose all illusions. And also, the 2811 armor, the Super Soldier, Siberia Soldier. The Last Guardian Siberia Soldier. The Siberia Soldier is also damaged here already beforehand. But it wasn't 2811. Your position was replaced by the Guardian, 2811 had no choice. Your attempt to skip the tournament has caused the death of the Guardian. 2-1 failed to return the Guardian's spear to you here. I'm sorry, but he died because of you, Last Guardian. I have to go before terminate. In this situation, the Guardian, the Last Guardian here particularly, he let his emotions get the better of him. Which, he is a very capable fighter that can probably kick anybody's ass in this tournament. If he actually tried, because Siberia Soldier here, he actually said earlier that he was a big threat. He was highly dangerous to fight against him. The expectancy of him was a very high threat. And he just took 2 missiles already once. 2 more. He took a gigantic sword slash to the chest. Survival expectancy, low to none. He's not done. Another missile, another missile, another missile. And then gets stabbed. He died because of you. This is just illusion. And he left the tournament completely. Wait, it's not the one. He's the only person to actually die in the tournament, that red one. Terminate. The number 3 last guardian. Status terminated. That's not all the combat that was right there either. Between these two.
It's all about humanity.
Look at this. He's going crazy. He's deflecting missiles like they're nothing. And also, he's pretty fast as well. He just took out 10 missiles at once and was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm completely fine. He put up an amazing fight. So I'm going to rate these two final people and call it a day, I think. First up with the 281 armor. The Siberia armor, I think. First, we rated first, I think. Kai, please scroll the armor. Or I think this is 281 himself. But the armor alone seems that terminated the last Guardian, who honestly I think belongs in S tier. I'm going to put him in S tier. But he lost due to his emotions taking better advantage of him in the combat. Even then, I will put the 281 armor above the Space Fragment Teleporter, just barely, because he ended up doing pretty good work. But overall, this is my rankings, I think. Number 1 goes to, without a doubt, Mr. Black. Ball Ordnance Awakened form. Second place. Third place, the Last Guardian. He overall is very powerful, but got killed due to his emotions taking advantage of him. Fourth place, the Unknown. He really does like combat, is really effective at it, but he doesn't really make the best choices usually. And overall, like, not counting these two because they're not exactly the same. They're the exact same people that's already in the tournament. The blessed one, White, gets 5th. Thank you so much for watching this video. Also, my face cam froze. Bye-bye.